Finland. According to a study by Leicester University, the 6th happiest country in the world. Finns also top the world league table for coffee drinking, and they borrow more library books per head than any nation on Earth. Which is all very interesting, but it doesn't explain this. There's a popular saying in motorsport, if you want to win, employ a Finn. This sparsely populated country has produced more rally champions, 7 in total, than any other nation. It has also produced more F1 world champions per head than anywhere else. So, what's going on up there? One of the reasons for Finnish driving prowess must be, quite simply, they take driving very, very seriously, right from day one. This is Petka. He's not a hoodie in a stolen car, he's having a driving lesson. And like everyone else in Finland, he has to spend 6 of them on a skid pan. He will also have lessons driving in the dark, and it will be 3 years before he gets a full license. It's all very strict. And it needs to be honest, because this is a typical Finnish back road. It's full of sudden crests and hidden dips. So as you drive along it, you need to know about power on, power off, feeling the car go light and the grip disappear. You're going to become a racing driver. So, to find out how the Finns wrap all this up into one big bundle of skill, I went for a drive with one of the locals. Unfortunately, the only person I could find was a retired bloke. Mind you, he's still quite sprightly.
It's Häkkinen. He's going through the left-hander.
Mika Häkkinen won the F1 World Championship twice, on both occasions beating the most successful driver of all time.
Michael Schumacher said that you were the only driver he really feared. So where did you learn car control? Because they say the Finns, you know, they have an instinct for it that other nations on Earth don't have. You can just do it.
We start doing this sport very, very young, so automatically we learn to car control. I'll give you an example. If you put a British person learning to play cricket when he's 25 years old, it's too late to understand the name of the game.
Are you thinking through these corners, or do you just feel it and you know?
No, honestly, what's going on now, we are going really, really slowly.
Are we?
Yeah.
Sitting next to Mika, you get a fantastic demonstration of Finnish car control. But if I was to learn more, I couldn't just be a passenger. Tomorrow, in the interests of science, though probably more for your entertainment, I suspect, the office has entered me in an amateur race on a rally circuit. Thankfully, though, Mika has offered to train me up. There's something else about Mika. He's not just helpful, he's quite modest.
So I'm not very good in travel. Wow!
Last year I went out with Jackie Stewart and he won the World Championship 3 times, I think, instead of just 2. Wow! But he taught me to be quite smooth and fast on a tarmac circuit. But could you teach me to be Finnish fast on a loose surface, do you think?
I can indeed.
The first and most important thing Mika would teach me was a cornering move known as the Scandinavian flick. And because he didn't want his mate's rally car wrapped around a tree, we started off with some cones.
When we come with the car, how to trace the back end to touching all these cones to find the perfect slide.
Okay, this is how we get the back end around.
Then it was my turn.
Little left, little right, on the gas, get the back end loose.
That's not enough, is it? Sorry.
Again, action! Better than first run.
And then, finally,
You did it! You did it! That's a Finnish way.
after we'd demolished all his cones, I took Mika out on the proper course, which he found relaxing.
So now second turn in, a bit of a flick. That wasn't bad.
Oh!
Sorry, I forgot which way to go there. Okay, first.
But then, with Yoda's guidance,
Now back end out nicely here. Stay on the gas. Yeah, good. Beautiful.
it all came together.
Oh, good. Excellent.
Lesson over, we stopped for a cup of hot reindeer blood and talked about why the Finns are so suited to motorsport.
Tell me a bit about sisu. What's sisu?
Sisu in English means courage. What is the Finnish courage? Let me give you an example. Okay, climb in a tree and jump down from there. So that doesn't mean sisu. That is the courage.
That's stupidity.
That is exactly. So sisu we can relate very much that in the motor racing. Example, you drive a rally car in a forest extremely really fast, and you need courage to able to brake late, to go throttle really early, go very close to the apex of the corners.
And they're quite reserved, the Finns. I mean, you famously, when you were a Formula One driver, they'd ask you a really complicated question and you'd just say, yes.
Yes.
That's right,
Yes.
is it? And the reason I'm asking is because I wondered if I might be, in some way, a bit Finnish myself. I don't like noisy people. So does that make me Finnish, do you think?
Yes.
At home, I quite like to have the spanners in my toolbox in order of size,
Yeah.
so that I can always find the right one. Is that quite Finnish?
Yes, it is very much. Personally, that's what I do. If you're talking about the toolbox, everything has to be very organized.
I quite like to have the air vents on my car all pointing the same way. Exactly. Is that Finnish?
No.
The next day, it was time for me to mix it with the Finns. I'd been entered in one of their folk races, which are run on part tarmac, part gravel, and take place every weekend all over Finland. The Finns had kindly sorted me out with a typical folk racing car, a 1967 Volvo Amazon.
Now, in actual fact, it has 200 horsepower, but in every other respect, it's scrap. But there's a very good reason for this. You see, there's a clever rule in folk racing. All the cars in the race are given a nominal and equal value. Let's say it's €1,000. Then at the end of the race, you can go to any other competitor and say, I want to buy your car. And he or she has to sell it to you. It stops people spending too much money, getting sponsorship, and generally taking it too seriously.
It also means that the cars stay equal and the racing stays close, which in turn sharpens the skills. But frankly, when the other drivers arrived, I stopped worrying about their skills.
The bloke over there is about 85.
And alongside him, the grid featured some housewives, a child, a teenager, and Bill Oddie.
Surely this can't be that difficult. That girl next to me should be doing her maths homework. Here we go.
By the time we hit the first corner, it was obvious that these were no ordinary pensioners, children, housewives, and Bill Oddies.
Ow! After you, Grandad. Have a Scandinavian flick, Finnish person. Damn, I've lost it.
I'd forgotten what Mika had said, that these guys start doing this as soon as they can see over the wheel.
I'm getting mullered.
I started to fight back.
I've passed the BMW. That was an overtake on a Finnish person. She's only 12, but that's not the point.
But the 12-year-old wasn't having it.
Oi!
Now normally I'd have been happy to stay there in the nice comfy ditch, but that's not what Mika would have wanted. It was time to summon up some sisu.
I'm going to have the Volvo. Opportunity for overtaking.
Using Mika's training, I overtook a housewife.
Chance for glory.
And then Grandad. But Bill Oddie was too much for me. And in the end, I finished somewhere near the middle.
I think all my top-level Finnish motorsport training has made me exactly average.
But that was average in Finland. Anywhere else, I might have been brilliant. First, I had to fly to Los Angeles, which, as we know from the song, is a great big freeway. That makes it the perfect place to test the most important car since the car was invented. Here it is. It's called the FCX Clarity, and I'm afraid it's a four-door Honda.
But if Raymond Baxter, God rest him, were here with us today, he'd be wearing a perfectly cut suit and he'd be saying that this is the future of motoring.
And that's certainly not because of the way it looks, because it looks just like a car. There's more normality too.
It doesn't drive itself, it doesn't levitate. This is remarkably like driving around in a Honda.
What the Clarity is an electric car, but it's nothing like the Tesla that Jeremy drove earlier. In fact, it's nothing like any electric car we've ever seen before.
The front wheels are driven by a perfectly normal electric motor, but there are no batteries. Instead, this car has its own on-board electricity generating station, and that takes the form of a hydrogen fuel cell.
And now, viewers, you better brace yourselves. Either that'll turn over to the soft porn and Nazi sharks on Channel 5, because I'm about to explain all this.
At the back of the car is a fuel tank, exactly where you'd expect it to be, but instead of filling it with petrol or diesel, it is filled with compressed hydrogen. Now this hydrogen is combined with oxygen from the air in the fuel cell, and in a rather complicated and boring way, that makes electricity. That electricity is then used to drive the electric motor, which turns the front wheel, like it might do in a perfectly normal front-wheel drive car, and the whole process is controlled by the whole process is controlled by a box of electronics under the bonnet where the engine would normally be. And that really is all there is to it.
It's the fuel cell and the hydrogen tank that goes with it that puts the Clarity in a different league to every other electric car.
So far, most electric cars have been appalling little plastic snot boxes that take all night to recharge and then take half a minute to reach their maximum speed of 40 and then run out of juice miles from anywhere. Prius, sucker.
But when the Clarity runs out of juice, you just pull into a hydrogen filling station.
The hydrogen is compressed into a liquid, so it's a bit like petrol. You fill it just like a petrol car. And the only difference is, because this is under pressure, you have to lock it with this lever. Terribly important that. If you don't do that, you get hydrogen all over your shoes.
In America, hydrogen costs roughly the same as petrol. But unlike petrol, it'll never run out because it's the most abundant element in the universe.
That whole process has taken somewhere between 2 and 3 minutes and has given me another 270 miles of driving.
And there's another bonus with hydrogen.
The only emission from this car is water, because that's what you get when you mix H and O. H2O, water.
Of course, I'm not going to pretend that a four-door saloon is as much fun to drive as that Tesla, but that said, the Clarity isn't bad. I mean, it develops 136 horsepower.
So this is an electric car that will do 100 miles an hour and 0 to 60 in just over 9 seconds, which is right on the money for a family car. Listen to this, we're belting through the mountains, accompanied by a little woo sound. Whoa, this is making my blue ball go all orange. I should probably explain that. You see, on the dash, there is this little blue circular symbol which grows the more vigorously I drive. The bigger it is, the more hydrogen I'm using. And if I really put the hammer down like this, it turns orange.
At the moment, the Clarity is only available in California, so I decided to ask an ordinary Californian motorist what he thought of it. Mind you, this chap does seem to like his cars. He's American talk show host Jay Leno.
It's my favorite ad. If you notice, the car is skidding off the road in their own ad. That's how bad handling a car it was.
I'm trying to come up with a bit of a setup like this next to my house, albeit quite a bit smaller.
It turns out that Jay, like me, is a fan of the Clarity. Not just because it's clever, but because it might just be the saviour of all the amazing gas guzzlers in here.
Car enthusiasts that think, oh, this is going to be awful. No, it won't. It'll save the petrol. It'll save your MG or your Sprite or your Midget, whatever you have. And you go out in the weekend, you have fun, and then you put this in the car park during the week. Much like the automobile was the savior of the horse. You know, in the cities, at least in America, horses would be whipped and they'd drop dead. And then when the car came along, it freed up the horse to be used for recreational purposes and just the beauty of the animal, whatever you want to call it. And I think these type of cars would be the savior of our sports cars, our MGs, Porsches, things like that.
You know how the Toyota Prius is the sort of darling of Hollywood? It's a fashion statement.
But you know why, BC? Because it has the moral superiority. With the Prius, you can go, look, I am driving an unattractive car because I am saving the planet. See, in America, we like everyone to know about the good work we're doing anonymously.
I'm absolutely convinced that the Clarity is the most important car for 100 years. And there's a very good reason for that.
One day, we will, sadly, run out of oil, and then we'll need something else. Now, electric cars have always seemed very promising, but as long as they're powered by batteries, they don't quite cut it. I mean, think of all the people down there driving around. We've built our lives around the car as we know it. You get in, you drive as far as you want to go, you fill up, you drive some more. That is the freedom that a petrol-powered car gives you. If its replacement is something that goes for 10 yards and then takes 4 hours to bring back to life, we'll have gone backwards.
The Clarity, though, is different. It fits the life we already have. And the reason it's the car of the future is because it's just like the car of today. It's very hard to drive across Iceland at the best of times. But luckily, I had just the vehicle for the job.
This looks exactly like the Toyota that Jeremy and I drove to the North Pole. More to the point, this has been to the North Pole with us, but you never saw it and it never got any of the glory because it was the one driven by the camera crew.
After we got back from the pole, our car went off to a museum, whereas this one was just left to rot. Today, though, I'm going to bring it back to life and give it one more mission.
Wow, I never actually thought I'd be so pleased to see one of these again. This really brings it all back. The ice going on forever. The boulder field going on forever. I can hear Jeremy going on forever. Oh, God.
No matter, my job is to turn this into the world's first volcano-proof car, which means a visit to Emil, the 4x4 genius who built it in the first place. I mean, what are the unique risks to volcano driving, apart from obviously being consumed by molten lava and burnt to a crisp?
It depends on how close you want to get.
Very close. As far as I can work out, no one's ever actually driven right up to the mouth of an active volcano in a car, so
No.
it's another Top Gear first if we can do it.
Yeah.
Some people claim you can walk on hot coals if you wet the bottom of your feet. I was just wondering, if there was some system of continuously wetting the tyres, would it be possible to drive across the hot lava?
If you don't fall through, possibly, yeah. If you drive fast.
Emil didn't look very confident. But we set to work anyway. And by the next morning, the Volcano Buster was ready. I know I look a bit like a petty thief on my way home from some corrugated roof robbery at the allotments, but there's a very good reason for all this. The lava occasionally goes over an area of water, and that causes an explosion, throwing bits of lava and rock up into the air. So that's there to stop those lumps coming down and breaking the windscreen, or my head. We have also fitted our new and pioneering tyre cooling system. There's an oil drum on the back full of water, and pipes feed the water to the tyres. Now obviously there's a risk of it freezing, and we can't put antifreeze in the water because that pollutes the glacier, so we've added a dash of vodka. As I drove onto the glacier, I stopped to hook up with a volcanologist who couldn't get to the volcano because of the weather. And it is fantastically windy. I've never seen or felt a wind like it.
Because of this storm that has been raging for the last few days, we haven't really been able to visit the area to see what's going on there.
So at the moment, with this weather and this whiteout, really nobody knows what's happening up there.
Exactly.
We'll be the first to find out.
Nobody can see it.
As night fell, the storm became worse. It was so bad that by morning it had taken the lives of 2 locals. This is what we're seeing, or what we're not seeing, I should say.
Visibility is probably less than 10 meters.
We reckoned that as long as we could follow the car carrying Emil and the camera crew, we'd be okay.
There he is. Yeah, there he is.
But we weren't. Oh, I've lost the tail lights.
Wow, that is dark.
Soon we were completely lost. Can you see any red lights?
I don't see anything.
Right. We are now effectively driving on instruments. Outside the window is it is a complete sheet of white. There's a blizzard going. The windscreen itself is freezing up. The windscreen wipers have frozen up. It's quite unnerving. Eventually, I had to get out to unjam the wipers.
Hang on to it. Oh, yeah. It's blinding. Look at that. Good job.
God, I've never known anything like that. I hadn't realised how strong that was being in here. I could hardly stand up. We ploughed onwards until, at last, salvation. Lights! Look, lights! There they are!
Oh, thank God.
Eventually, the storm cleared, and we arrived at our overnight stop, where we were greeted by a spectacular sight. Wow, look at that!
Beautiful.
How far away is that?
About 1.5 kilometers.
I can hear it as well.
Yeah. Just like cannon fire.
That's fantastic.
Whoa!
The next morning, still with no idea how big this eruption would become, I dropped off the professor.
Thanks for a ride.
And headed on alone
until at last I got my first close-up look at the volcano. God in heaven, look at that. Lava was spewing out at a temperature of 1200 degrees centigrade, and right in front of my eyes, a brand new part of the world was being created. It was now my job to test our volcano car by driving up to the crater and scooping up a fresh piece of landscape as a souvenir. And to help me with that, they've given me a garden trowel on an extending pole held on with sticky tape and a bucket. And of course I have my corrugated roof, and I am in the best off-road vehicle I've ever driven. So, piece of cake really, here we go. Does look quite angry. Oh God, look at that. Even though I was driving on lava that had fallen days ago, it was still red hot, and the Top Gear vodka tyre cooling system was working overtime. Right, what I need is for a piece to land quite near me, and then I can reach out of the window and grab it. Bravely, I decided that was far enough. Oh my word. I don't know if you can see this as well as I can, but it's raining red hot lumps. It's quite... God, that's hot. It was time to break out the lava scoop. Oh, hell, look at the size of that. A piece of that would do nicely. Woo! Yes, yes. Still glowing slightly. Yay! God, that's hot. Whoa! Oh, that's getting a bit frisky. In the excitement of bagging a souvenir, I'd stayed still for too long. They're on fire. Right, I'm off. With the tyres steaming, I beat a retreat from the volcano, clutching my brand new piece of planet Earth. I claim you for Queen Elizabeth and Top Gear. And best of all, the unsung hero finally got the recognition it deserves. This is it. You'll be able to spot it in a crowd by virtue of its gold wheels, its gold chassis, its F1 style engine cover, and by the engine underneath it, which is now a 3-litre V8.
Now, the normal rules are, if you've got a big, heavy car and you want it to go fast, you have to put a big, powerful engine in it. If you've got a small, light car and you want it to go fast, you don't need to put such a big engine in it. So what happens if you take a very light car and put a very big engine in it?
Well, in my case, you look like a spaniel with its head out of the window.
Atom had 275 horsepower. This one has 500 horsepower, and it only weighs 550 kilograms.
Which means it has a power-to-weight figure of over 900 horsepower per tonne.
So in Top Gear mass, it's twice as powerful as a Bugatti Veyron or a Ferrari Enzo.
But the Atom is not just a rocket bolted to a roller skate. It's a bit more clever than that.
These little paddles, for example, will shift the sequential gears in 0.04 of a second, or so quickly that there's no appreciable drop in power to the rear wheels. And that helps it go from 0 to 60 in something like 2.5 seconds.
And now, let's bring all those numbers to life with a practical demonstration.
Here we have a small selection of supercars from around the world. From Japan, the Lexus LFA, £340,000, bristling with science. From Italy, the latest lightweight Lamborghini Gallardo, £180,000. Both of them with over 550 horsepower, and both of them packed with supercar technology and the pride of nations. So, let's see how they do against the Atom in a race. From 0 to 100 to 0.
And there we are.
Look how this cottage industry supercar mocks the conceit of empires. Ha ha!
However, since we're on this built-in-a-shed David versus big business Goliath theme, I have a confession to make on the Atom's behalf.
Now the standard Atom with 275 horsepower costs £30,000. This one with 500 horsepower costs £150,000.
And even the seasoned Top Gear film crew were quite surprised by what you get for your 150 grand.
Is there a radio?
No.
Hands-free kit?
What? Hands-free? No. No.
Glove box?
No glove box.
Is it central locking?
No, there's no doors.
Where's the spare wheel?
I don't think there is a spare wheel. There's no boot. Huh?
Cup holder?
Nope, no cup holder.
Cruise control?
Nope.
Somewhere to put your sunglasses?
No.
Your iPhone, that plugs in, surely?
Nope.
Tow bar?
No.
The fact is, with this car, you're paying for super geek levels of engineering. The bespoke engine and gearbox alone cost £50,000. And then you've got the magnesium wheels and the onboard computers that set the car up for individual owners. Also, the Atom V8 had a difficult and costly birth.
Early attempts at the V8 were absolutely brutal. They were only really fit for track day bores who wanted to drone on in the pub about how they'd driven something that was undrivable. So they went back to the drawing board and then they got this. Not that, this.
A hardcore car with a heart of pure gold.
Love the steering in this thing. It's fantastically immediate. I'm just thinking my way through bends, really. It's as crisp as a bag of crisps.
In fact, driving the V8 Atom is one of the great motoring experiences of my life, which is an excellent thought on which to end this film.
Unfortunately, it isn't the end. In fact, things get a bit tricky for me now, because when Jeremy tested the original Atom several years ago, he had a race round the track against a fast motorcycle. And the producers enjoyed this so much, they've ordered me to do the same thing again.
The thing is, since this Atom is considerably faster than the old one, it'll be up against a considerably faster bike. The BMW S1000RR, the world's most powerful road bike.
And whereas Jeremy raced against a normal road-going motorcycle enthusiast, I won't be.
No, I'll be against British Evo Superbike champion Steve Brogan.
Now, I thought this was unfair, and I protested. I said the Atom should also be driven by a proper racing driver, but the producers said no, it must be a Top Gear presenter. So, here we go.
Oh, sorry, mate. Sorry. Anyway, undo that strap. Stick it on your head. Nice.
And I'm off. No, he's going past. We've got roughly the same power to weight ratio. This is going to be about corners. Got a better drive out of the corner than me there, but I think I'm catching him again. Round Chicago. Give it a good beating down to the hammerhead. Here we go. Hard on the brakes. Turning in. Can't get his power down in the corners like I can.
Down to the follow through, flat out.
Gonna keep it right. More power. I'm gaining. Yeah, no, I've gone past. I've gone past. Into the second to the last corner. Here we go for the last corner. Don't muck it up. And across the line.
Cheers, Tiff.
Oh, no problem, James. Anytime you want me.
Thanks.
Do you want this shirt back?
Yes, please. Pretty sure you don't want it.
No, you're right.